All right, here we are at the world-famous Dust Bowl days held at Sunset School every year. It's October the 18th, 2014, and we have with us today Mr. Jimmy Phillips. And I'm Gene Lundquist, one of Jimmy's classmates at Vineland and Sunset, way back when dinosaurs roamed the earth. And Jimmy has quite a history, and I want to ask him a little bit about it and preserve this. So, Jimmy, tell me a little bit about your family when they arrived in Kern County and where you lived when you got here.
My folks, my mother and her family came out in 1926 from Oklahoma, and they landed in Arvin, and then out the Bricks Ranch, and so when my mother and my father, they were together, and they got together and they had me, and I was born in Kern General Hospital. Excuse me.
Kern General
Hospital, and 1941, and right after that, Bill Woods, who was one of our father of our Bakersfield Sound, he and my father ran around together. So he told me, he said, I got to hold you the day that they brought you home from the hospital. I told your dad I wanted to hold that big boy, and that was at 810 Chester Avenue, and just about a block and a half south of the big white shoe. And so Bill told my dad, I'm going to make a musician out of this boy. And I thought, oh no, you jinxed me, Bill. No, not really, but he kept an eye on me. He went and watched me all the way through. And so then my folks divorced, and then I went out to the Fritz's Ranch when I was just probably 1 year old. And then when we stayed out there until my stepdad, Atwood Reisner, and when they got married, then we had Kendall Reisner, Sue Reisner, and then Mom and Dad, Atwood Reisner and Virgie Reisner. So, and then we moved into the government camp. We call it the government camp, but it's the Arvin Federated Labor Camp, is what it is known for. And that is 1 mile from the Vineland School, and right here at the Sunset School, which the kids that lived in the camp back in 1940 to 45, they built the Sunset School. The kids built that, and they offered everything from a swimming pool to anything you wanted to learn: electrician, plumbing, carpentry, ranching, how to grow crops. And I mean, it was just a wonderful upbringing. I got into my brother Kendall, he was a drummer and Sunset School, and from there, I wanted to play those drums. I picked up Kendall's drumsticks, and so when I went into Vineland, I started going to Vineland School. I went there through first grade, all the way through till all the way through the 4th grade, and then into Sunset School. But
hey, well, Jimmy, let me interrupt here just a second. So, I have a picture of you, and I'm in the picture too.
Yes.
At Vineland School.
Right.
With Mr. Foster.
Yes, Mr. Foster,
the band teacher, and you were playing the big bass drum.
Yep.
Is that where you got your start?
Yes, it was. That was right there. In fact, I think just before Gene came in and joined us, I got to play both the bass drum and the snare drum. 1, 2, 3, 1, and then I thought, oh boy, man, Gene, and well, it was so nice to be able to have 2 people on the drums, and that was at the orchestra, the Vineland Orchestra, which Mr. Foster taught. He had a daughter named Susan.
Right.
Foster.
Well, this is leading up to something.
Yes.
The drum story. So,
so
that played a big part in
yes,
what you did and still doing.
When we went from there all the way through to Sunset, and when I got into Sunset, I got into the band. I was in the 5th grade, and there was a drummer there called Benny the Bopper, And Benny taught me a kind of a Latin rhythm where you use your rim on the rim and everything, and I use that still to this day, and many songs. And so thank you, Benny. Anyway, after that, yeah, so then I went on in from, we moved into Mountain View School at that time. I moved there to 6th grade, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I graduated from there, and then into Arvin High School. I chose music as a major, which was kind of a rarity for a musician to do. A lot of vocal people in choir do that, but I did take music as a major. When I got into Arvin High School, it was in 2 weeks. Then I was in the varsity band. And then the following year, sophomore year, I became the first-year drummer at Arvin High School. Don't know why, natural talent, I don't know, it just was born in me, I don't know. But anyway,
You're a born drummer.
No doubt. And so after that, I went first-year drummer all the way through high school. And then my junior year in high school, that's all I did. I wanted to play my drums, that's all. I didn't really care about studies. I didn't focus on my studies, which I should have. It did not pay off later. Well, it did pay off later. I'm sorry to say that. I'm proud to say that it's taken me a long way. But it cost me a college education. But I changed the cadence and the school band. I did not like the old military cadence, and so I changed that over to a single stroke cadence. And they did not think that I could get this done, because they said the kids cannot march to that. And I showed them, I said, if I can get the drum section to marching to it, would you do it? So we did. Okay, now that is, quote, the first time it was played in high school bands, and we used a single stroke instead of the old military cadence. And the Arvin High School band took it. We marched up and down Arvin, through Arvin, from down Campus Drive, from high school down Campus Drive down to Bear Mountain Road, and we changed the marching style. Took it to Bakersfield, California, marched in the parades, and every other high school. Every high school took it, plus the Bakersfield College changed their cadences to single stroke. And that's what you hear today. They added all the toms and everything else, and which I used 2 toms. I took the snares off of those and used mallets on them. And
well, good for you.
Anyway, that was the first time that was ever used, and so of course they've added to that and changed it. But that was the first time it was changed. And then after that, on my senior year, Mr. Desiderio, who was a teacher at Arvin
I remember
High School,
Mr. Desiderio.
He invited the Arvin High School band to USC for Band Day and Color Day. And when we stepped off the bus, Mr. Desiderio said, "Jimmy Phillips, I need to speak with you." He said, "I hope you can come and play drums here at the USC." And I said, "You know what, Mr. Desiderio, my grades will not allow that." I said, "They're not good enough. I focus too much on music." So I said, "Man, this is just..." and so I didn't get a USC, and I had free ride on that. Free ride.
Oh my gosh.
And I was dumbfounded.
You regret that you couldn't do it to this day.
But what did I do from there? And then I got out of school, went through the little rock and roll stage, got into country music, and from there on got to record with Merle Haggard, do shows with Buckhorns and the Buckaroos, big shows, concerts, and many others. Worked with Glenn Campbell. I got in at Capitol Records, and did for a year and a half. I was studio musician back and forth, and I thought, wow, from the cotton patch to this, picking cotton, I'm telling you, it's amazing. But to get there, it was hard. And then I did get to, thanks to Lawrence Foster, and he got me into the Musicians Union when I was 16 years old. He stood up and vouched for me. That all derived from Vineman and Sunset School, and to give you the courage and the mind that you can do it. He gave it to me, and when he spoke and said that I could work with any of these musicians out there, which included Buckhorns, Bill Woods, Billy Mize, Jelly Sanders, you name them, all Bakersfield sound, I got to work with it. and become a part of the Bakersfield Sound, the original Bakersfield Sound. I can go on and on. Gene said, I'm going to take 5 minutes. Well, I probably spoke for 10.
Yeah, you're approaching that, but that's all right.
But anyway, then I got into the, somebody inducted me. They said, we want to get you into the Hall of Fame, Western Swing Hall of Fame. And oh my God, Hall of Fame? Oh, where do you go from there? You're at Capitol Records, now you're in the Hall of Fame. I thought, oh my God, from the Cotton Patch to this? I mean, it was amazing.
So which year were you inducted into the Hall of Fame?
2010, I got inducted.
What was it again?
The Sacramento Western Swing Hall of Fame. And then I got many letters and awards on top of that.
Oh, well, so, Jimmy.
What I couldn't have ever bought that at USC and got the education that I got and worked for, and so many friends, and get the notoriety that we've been honored. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord.
Okay,
and
well,
I just want you to know that I'm just so honored. And but my folks, my dad was a farm labor contractor right here in this government camp, and when we're at the Sunset School, we were just within a stone's throw, our home was, of the school. And we got to walk back and forth, but my dad was a farm labor contractor, and he put many people together to let them work. I went out with him, and we would go get hands to go out and Gene, your folks likewise, where they would raise the cotton, and my dad would go out and hold the cotton, get the weeds out, and all of that. Well, I watched him write 300 checks by hand. And my sister Sharon, she came along in the camp. And that was when they lived in tin cabins.
I wanted to ask you about that. You lived in a tin cabin. You weren't in the double-decker.
No, we lived in the tent circle. In the tent circle, one cabin, a 10 by 12, one bed, 5 of us in that bed. And we stayed there for 6 months. Started raining. The camp, about 4 inches of water. My mother, she went up and she got 2 tin cabins. And that's where we lived in there for about 2 years until we got into the cottages. And that was 2 bedroom, 1 bath, living room, kitchen. And wow.
You don't regret those days, do you?
And that was, no. Oh gosh, no.
It was a...
You know what? I do have a thing that I can tell you. I was raised, it's a poem, song, whatever, if you will. But it was, I was raised in a labor camp, but by now things wasn't so bad. We had a lot of problems, but that's not all we ever had. We had good food on the table at night, hot biscuits in the morning. Playground for all the school, all the kids to play, and some good schools for learning. There was a little post office and a little bitty store, a little library, and much more. And the preacher would come on Sunday, and in a little green building we'd all pray, thank the Lord for a good day. And we had love, plenty of love. Mom and Dad taught a way of life that good things don't come easy. You've got to work for what you get, and what you get will please you.
Oh, that's fabulous.
And so,
that's fabulous.
That kind of wraps up and tells the story of the government camp and how people work, and they worked hard. But they had a good way of life, and they were proud of themselves. And I'm proud to present that we've had that, and it's all worked up to this Dust Bowl, to let people celebrate, and in memories, and in pictures, and in books. And since it's very started, my family did start this. I came up with this name. I said, well, Dust Bowl Days. Let's do something, call it the Dust Bowl Days. And sure enough.
You're the one that came up with Dust Bowl Days name?
Dust Bowl Days, yes, I did.
Well, good for you.
And I told my family, if you mention this, it's going to go like wildfire. Since then, there's been numerous books and college classes. I have spoke on PBS shows.
Is that
on radio and television and the whole thing. And then in foreign countries also came to me and wanted to interview. So I shut everything down and interviewed them just like I'm doing now.
Hey, well, I didn't realize that when I asked you for this interview. But I'm proud to be one of your interviewees. Well,
Gene, I'm telling you, I'm just honored.
And listen, Jimmy, I want to just tell you that we're all proud of you. I have a little deal that I've written about some of the experiences out here, and I mentioned you in those experiences.
I understand.
And I said, you know, here's Jimmy Phillips. You know, he started drumming when he was at Vineland School
yes,
and Sunset,
Yep.
and he's never stopped drumming since.
I've never had my drumsticks out of my hands since then.
And we're so proud of you. So, Jimmy, thanks for doing this interview.
Gene, thank you so much. I do appreciate it.